You're listening to Thursday Night AMP on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I feel like Polly Walnuts. Oh, hey, we got a show to do here. Or maybe some of you know him better as Vinny from Family Guy. But whatever you know him as, that's how I feel tonight. I feel like, what? You talking to me? You looking at me? You got something funny to say? But we're not laughing because we have a very sad topic to talk about tonight. The retirement of Daniel Bryan, and it's Thursday Night AMP, and I have two co-hosts. My name is Stevie J. First, Jason Harlan, the great Sudoku.
Hey, first off, Angry Marks, I am not retiring, nor have I been suspended for hitting Stevie J, but I am the newest member of Chaos, the great Sudoku.
Yes, indeed you are. And somebody that I think very much would like to punch her clock for keeping her up late at all hours would be our good friend Abby.
Yeah, I've been up since before stupid o'clock this morning, so yeah, I'm a little bit sleepy. I might nod off during the show.
We'll try to keep you awake. We have plenty of excitement we can bring your way, and of course we'll be talking about new beginnings for New Japan Pro Wrestling, but before we get into that, let's address the 600-pound elephant in the room. Daniel Bryan had to hang it up because of his medical problems, and he addressed the crowd in Seattle who wouldn't shut up and kept chanting yes the whole time. They loved him. We loved it, but it was very sad. Abby, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was sad. I wasn't expecting him to retire. I thought with all of the doctors that had cleared him that he would be back someday, but if these are a new kind of medical test they're doing, you have to wonder if everybody else on the roster underwent them, how many people wouldn't be allowed in the ring anymore?
Yeah, I had that thought myself. There are many guys who've had many concussions over the years, and I guess the thing that was the nail in the coffin for Daniel Bryan was that he had post-concussion seizures, and they did a very, very, very detailed test of his brain where they discovered the lesions in his brain were causing the seizures, and even though he hadn't had one in years, he was at imminent risk with even one minor bump. He could have another one, so he decided it wasn't worth that risk, and who can blame him? But Jason, your thoughts?
A lot of feedback here. I thought that the Daniel Bryan retirement was going to be a work. They just really overplayed it with the announcement initially on Twitter and just how they hyped it and hyped it and hyped it and hyped it on Raw the whole night. It just felt like it was going to be a work. I was actually surprised when he came out at the end and didn't pull a swerve. I was expecting some kind of swerve like we got when Mark Henry, quote-unquote, retired and killed John Cena. But it was kind of sad. It was good to see him, near his hometown. I think he's from Aberdeen, and this was in Seattle. But it's like, yeah, they wouldn't shut up with the yes chants. But he's retiring. What can you do? It's his hometown. Of course they're going to do that. They hijacked the WWE there all the time, and it was no different when Daniel Bryan retired. One of my favorite tweets was from Kalisto, who said, from a Lucha Dragon to the American Dragon, something like on a good career like that. But I thought it was cool that they referenced him as American Dragon. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was a great tweet. It was a great speech, too. And my favorite part of it was when he talked about how the crowd likes to hijack Raw when he's on the card, especially when they're in the Pacific Northwest. And he points to a fan in the crowd and he says, "See that guy wearing the goat mask holding up the yes sign? My father stood right there when you guys hijacked Raw, and his father's no longer with us, and that brought a tear to my eye because you could see him getting emotional about it, and I started getting emotional about it. I'm like, oh, damn it, Daniel, you did have to mention that.
Yeah, that was kind of sad.
Too, and that's where he started tearing up at that point too, and it was an emotional moment, and yeah, it was sad to see him go. I was really expecting some kind of swerve to come out of this, but it was completely legit, which I didn't see coming. But I guess there was there some kind of new brain test that he had done that had revealed something that the doctors previously hadn't seen?
Yeah, he had something done that was more than the normal EEG or EKG. It's an EEG for the brain.
Yeah, electroencephalogram.
Yeah, had something a little bit more high-tech done where it was able to map that lesion in his temporal lobe, I think was where he said it was. That small little lesion that was causing the seizures.
Mm-hmm. And everybody thinks that he was hiding the fact that he was having seizures from the doctors, and that was not the case. He had seizures 4 years ago when he had a concussion then, and he's told every doctor that he's been to since then about that, but this was the first time anybody had scanned his brain and told him, you're at risk for having more seizures. Nobody had told him that before now.
Yeah. At least it was his decision to retire.
Right. And I look at this in the same way that I looked at Edge's retirement, in that he got some devastating medical news, realized that if he did something wrong in the ring, it could paralyze him or end his life, and just decided, hey, I don't really want to end up like that. I have a family, I have a life, I have other things I can do. I'm going to step away knowing that I gave it everything I could up until the point I couldn't. So as much as I'm sad, I'm also happy because Daniel Bryan stepped away and didn't end up in a pine box.
Yeah, there are some things a little bit more important than professional wrestling.
And he also went out on good terms with WWE too, which leaves the door open for him to be a mentor or a trainer or, knock on wood, even a general manager, because at this point, even that would be better than what the Authority is doing on Raw.
He's still under contract to him.
There you go. You might as well use him in some role that's not a wrestling role, but you can get a lot of value out of Daniel Bryan, albeit not in a wrestling ring.
Oh, yeah, with the value of what he can bring from his wealth of knowledge from 15 years of professional wrestling, he could be a trainer, or with his charisma, he could be a general manager. He could tell people what to do and where to go, or he can just retire to the quiet life with his wife and have babies and still get paid by WWE not to go anywhere else. I mean, whatever he wants to do, I support him in that because he already gave me everything I could ever want as a professional wrestling fan. And I mean everything. I saw him main event Ring of Honor. I saw him main event Dragon Gate USA. I saw him main event WrestleMania. And I'm talking about personal experiences, except for the WrestleMania one. I wasn't at WrestleMania that year. But in the other two cases, I was there when he main evented those shows. And those are memories that will last me for a lifetime, seeing Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan or American Dragon or whatever you want to call him, always being the best in the world everywhere he went.
Yeah, I think the quintessential match that stands out in my mind with American Dragon and Daniel Bryan in general, I think this was from Ring of Honor. This goes way, way back to his American Dragon days, long before the beard. But there was a three-way match between American Dragon, Low-Ki, and Christopher Daniels. And this match tore the house down, and it was amazing.
Absolutely. In fact, the tape of that match was the reason I became a Ring of Honor fan. A friend of mine named Nate, who would go on to be a professional wrestler himself, gave me that tape to watch. And after I saw it, not only was I a Bryan Danielson fan, I was a Ring of Honor fan. That was why I started buying all of their DVDs, was just to see Bryan Danielson.
I had heard the name American Dragon, but I hadn't seen anything, and that was my first exposure. And I had heard of Low-Ki before, and I'd heard of Christopher Daniels going all the way back to Toryumon in Japan in the late 90s, early 2000s. But yeah, seeing that match, it was like, wow. And yeah, that was kind of, vintage Ring of Honor right there, and vintage Daniel Bryan.
For me, vintage Daniel Bryan, aka American Dragon Bryan Danielson, will be seeing him in a main event with Takeshi Morishima in Chicago Ridge, Illinois. And not just for the fact that it was him defending the world title that night, but for the fact that 2,000 people in that little warehouse of a building all stood up simultaneously, including me, and all shouted, "It's the final countdown!" That's why every time that Geico commercial comes on, I think of him.
Maybe now Bree will retire and, go with him and we won't have to hear Bree mode anymore.
Well, I hate to say it, Abby, but I said it a few months ago when you were on the show, and I said, maybe I'll have to start watching Total Divas just to see him.
Yeah, I know.
Well, now I don't have a choice because he's not wrestling anymore, so if I really do want to see him, that's the only place I'm gonna.
Well, I'll let you sit there and suffer through Total Divas just for your Bryan fix.
Who says I have to suffer? It's not like I couldn't record it and fast forward through all the parts.
True.
Yeah, I can skip anything that he's not involved in.
Yeah, the best part of Total Divas for me is Josie. So,
Josie? Who is that?
The dog.
Jojo Offerman?
Josie, their French bulldog.
Oh, yeah, okay. See, that shows you how much Total Divas I've watched. Cause
the little dog.
I didn't even remember that was the dog's name. I thought you were talking about JoJo.
No.
Well, and some people would say she's a little dog, too, because everybody towers over her every time she tries to do an interview.
I need to find her a milk crate to stand on.
Honestly, as much as I hate the whole authority Vince McMahon segments that have permeated every single show, the one thing that Vince McMahon did that I absolutely loved was when she was interviewing him and he got down on his knees so he could be eye-to-eye level with her.
Oh, Vince is such an idiot. He proved that again this week, so.
Yes, why don't you go ahead and talk about that? The whole situation we had with Titus O'Neil that relates directly to what we're talking about because it occurred after Daniel Bryan's speech.
Yes, it was on the WWE network right as they were going off the air when Vince and Stephanie and Triple H turned to go towards the back, and Titus O'Neil playfully, supposedly, grabbed Vince. And Vince looked pissed off and pushed him back. And the next day we hear, oh, well, Titus has been suspended for unprofessional conduct.
See, I've heard two different stories about that. One is that he was playfully grabbing him because they have some sort of relationship like that where they do that to each other in the back. And it was just bad timing. And Vince McMahon was pissed because he was doing it during a very solemn event. And the other story that I've heard, which apparently is the reason his suspension got reduced from 90 to 60 days, is that Stephanie McMahon didn't have room among the crowd to walk back, and he was trying to pull Vince aside so that Stephanie could walk through.
Yeah, the ladies first thing. I saw that yesterday, I think. It doesn't matter. I mean, either way, suspended for that. I mean, hell, you violate the wellness policy, you get a warning. And then you get 30 days, and then you get 60 days, and then you get 90 days, and then your ass gets fired, depending on who you are. That's just ridiculous.
It is, and it seemed so out of proportion that WWE got a shitstorm over it with a lot of people saying, this company is racist. They wouldn't do that to Randy Orton. So,
no,
Jason,
I mean, that was on the front page of the New York Post yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They printed out an email of, I think a text message from Titus to Vince in there too, that, he realized that it was a shitty thing to do. And if they fired him, he understood.
Well, he'd understand, but I wouldn't understand.
No.
And I want to know, Jason, do you understand?
Okay, yeah, I was saying that I don't think it's racist. I think it's more about where Titus's spot on the roster is. I think if you took like anybody in the New Day and put them in that situation, I don't think they would have gotten as severe a suspension. I think if you took somebody like Heath Slater and did the same thing, he might get the same kind of punishment that Titus did. I don't think it's related to race. I just think it's bullshit, but it's kind of related to Titus's, where he fits on the card, so to speak.
Well, no, wait. You talked about his position on the card, and up until he lost to Adam Rose, coincidentally enough, on Monday night, the guy had like 10 wins in a row, not to mention the fact that he's the poster boy for their doing good in the community outreach. I mean, this guy every city they go to, he has a charity drive. He feeds the homeless. He's giving people lifts. He's doing all the things that you'd want your WWE superstars to do to be a positive force and put a good image on the company. It's not like this guy was a bad seed.
It's not, but I mean, he's doing good things, but it's not like he's over with the crowd.
Oh, I guess you can make that argument, but he's over with me because I mean, I hate to use the John Cena example because I know Abby's going to roll her eyes and groan, but there are some things you can't hate about a person no matter how they're pushed on television. And when he does the amount of charitable work that he does without necessarily getting the recognition for it, whether he's asked to or not, I have to respect the guy despite how he's used on or off TV. I respect the guy as a person. So Titus O'Neil is over with me, which is why it's even more boggling that they won't take that into consideration and give him this lengthy suspension that's not only out of proportion to what he did, but it means he's going to miss out on the payday of WrestleMania, which is the biggest payday a wrestler in WWE can get all year long. Abby, I turn it over to you.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the same thing. Since Cena's out right now, he's their biggest social ambassador. You know, all this Father of the Year stuff, this tie-in with the Super Bowl just Monday that they were touting all over the place. And just for a little nothing incident like that, as high as he is on that goodwill ambassador totem pole, I think there's got to be something else to it.
Okay, you're leaning towards the conspiracy theory.
No, not
I've heard
conspiracy theory.
Go ahead.
Not conspiracy theory, but, you know, it's like Vince was saying backstage stuff along the lines of, we want WWE talent to present this professional, you know, appearance to everyone, and we want to act professional and be professional. And, you know, this was a message to the rest of the roster. And he was basically made the fall guy. And it's like, for that little stupid thing, you do this. Mm-hmm.
And that's
something's just kind of hinky.
That's why people are coming up with the explanations for why it's hinky. I've heard one theory, and I don't buy this myself, but it's out there, that he has a wellness policy violation and they're trying to cover it up. So they gave him the suspension for grabbing Vince McMahon to cover the fact that he failed a drug test.
I hadn't heard that one.
Well, I don't give it credence because he's big and he's muscular, but he's not like ridiculous. Like say Ryback is a good example. You know, he doesn't have muscles in places he shouldn't have muscles. So I don't know if I buy that one, but then again, I cover MMA for a living, and guys fail drug tests in MMA all the time that don't look jacked to the gills either. So it doesn't necessarily correlate. And on that, I'll go to Jason.
And now that Ryback is dressing like Goldberg, we can see that he's shredded. But yeah, Titus isn't really shredded like a Brock Lesnar or a Ryback. I've heard accounts of it that said, at one point he may have put Vince McMahon in a headlock. I don't know if I believe that. But yeah, his goodwill ambassadorship with WWE should count for something. And it just goes to show you that the internet fans that are on Twitter and that are causing an uproar about this are the smart marks. They are the ones that are informed, the ones that are in the know, the ones that know about the charity work that Titus O'Neil does. And they're the ones that are being the most vocal and the most critical of WWE. And hopefully the higher ups at WWE will take this into account.
I feel like they already did when they took it down from 90 to 60 days, but I think that's about as far as it's going to go for smart marks and social media outcry. I think, right or wrong, Abby said it already. Vince is apparently trying to send a message to the boys, and he's the fall guy, and if he misses WrestleMania, that's what they intend. It's like, hey, straighten up and fly in line or you'll miss WrestleMania too.
Which sucks. It's kind of like they're cutting off their nose to spite their face with all the injuries that they have going on right now. And, as thin as the card's going to be, I don't know how much it would boost it to have Titus there, but, it never hurts to have a healthy body that can go waiting in the wings.
Sure.
It's funny that you say that because I listened to the conference call that they did for the fourth quarter earnings this morning, and somebody point blank asked Vince McMahon on the conference call, what are you going to do about the fact that you have so many superstars injured? John Cena's on the shelf, Randy Orton's on the shelf, blah, 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 etc. What are you going to do about this to make WrestleMania a success? And Vince, without a beat, said, we'll be creative.
They couldn't be creative if we gave them a set of watercolors. I mean, they have proven that week in and week out. They don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, their ideas of creative and entertaining are definitely not anyone else's.
That's a perfect segue, though, because lately they've showed us the truth of what Abby just said by creatively naming AJ Styles the Pitbull. This is your worst fears come true, Abby. Everything you said, I gotta give you credit. You said this was gonna happen. You were right.
Well, between the Pitbull and the Redneck Rookie, which I heard Monday night, yeah, it just boggles my mind. Here's this guy that's been everywhere, done everything, done a hell of a lot more than 95% of the roster in WWE has. And he's the Redneck Rookie Pitbull from Georgia. And it's ridiculous.
On top of the fact that right now, with Daniel Bryan retiring, who better could step into his shoes and take his spot and do the things that he did than a guy like AJ Styles, the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Indeed, and I was going to say that he didn't mention AJ, or that AJ didn't come out and say a few words about Daniel Bryan, because they've had history on the Indies too, and it would have been a nice kind of retrospective to hear Styles send off Daniel Bryan. That would have been nice, although might have been overstepping his bounds as he's new in the company, but it still would have been a nice send off there. But yeah, there's only one Pitbull currently in wrestling, and that is Tomohiro Ishii, the Stone Pitbull.
Yes, in order to be a Pitbull, you need not have a neck. I think that's like criteria. You have to be neckless in order to be a Pitbull.
Did Gary Wolf have a neck?
Wasn't he the one that got his neck broke?
Probably.
I thought that was the other Pitbull that got his neck broke.
The guy that wasn't Gary Wolf, that nobody knows the name of. Okay. Pitbull number one.
I should actually remember it. I feel bad.
I thought it was Gary Wolf that got his neck broken.
I'm actually looking it up right now.
And then got swung around by that halo. That I distinctly remember on an ECW show, seeing somebody grab that.
It's Gary Wolf and Anthony Durante. That's
Anthony
the other
Durante.
guy.
That's the other one. Or the franchise. I think it was the franchise that grabbed him and shook him by the
that halo.
Brace.
Yeah, that freaked me out.
That was, it's creepy to see anybody wearing that, but then to see somebody get abused while they're wearing that is just extra levels of creepy.
Yeah, and it's Durante who's no longer with us. He passed away in 2003. So, sorry to make that somber note, but hey, that's exactly why Daniel Bryan is getting out of the wrestling business, so he doesn't end up like that.
Which is a good thing. Get out, with your health and not end up like a Chris Benoit, per se.
Or a Dynamite Kid.
That too.
Yeah. You don't want to be crazy, and you don't want to end up in a wheelchair. Either one of those is bad news. But
be crazy in a wheelchair.
That would be the worst combination of all.
Yeah.
Dutch Mantel.
Oh, good Lord.
No, Dutch Mantel actually still seems to have his wits about him, because he cuts better promos than most of the roster.
I'll never forget watching him wrestle as a kid. Just his back alone was enough to freak me the fuck out.
Scary but true fact, before he came back as Zeb Coulter, I was at a Ring of Honor show at WrestleMania weekend, and he was there as Dutch Mantel wearing all his gimmicks, and I didn't even think to go over and say anything to him because I didn't know Dutch Mantel well enough. I knew the name, but I hadn't watched his career. I was like, what do I have to say to Dutch Mantel? So I walked
your
over.
back.
See, I couldn't even come up with that one on the spot, because there was a line for him and there was a line for Jim Cornette. And guess whose line I got in?
Corny's.
Of course.
I probably would have done the same thing.
So anyway, we already hit it that Tomohiro Ishii is the Pitbull if it's not AJ Styles. So maybe that's a good excuse for us to talk about new beginnings from New Japan.
Sure, yeah, there was a show this morning at 3 a.m. Eastern Time, which, as Abby likes to call it, is Stupid O'Clock.
No, that's before Stupid O'Clock. Stupid O'Clock is 4:30 when they normally come on.
Oh, 4:30 is Stupid 30. So Stupid O'Clock is 4:30. This was before Stupid O'Clock then.
It was a good show, except for the main event.
It was. We'll run down the card here briefly. first match of the card was really interesting. We had two guys who usually team up, two Gaijin Young Lions, and Jay White and David Finlay teaming up. What did you think of this match, Abby?
I had no clue who to root for. None. David had the best hair in the match. He appreciated that when I told him that on Twitter. It was a really good match, though. I think Jay's been taking lessons from Okada when it comes to drop kicks, and David's been taking forearm lessons from Cesaro. It was good. These two are going to be so good. I think Jay will be a little bit better simply on looks and charisma. But yeah, I can see them jumping up into the junior heavyweight division before too long.
And one thing I want to mention to the Angry Marks who are listening who haven't seen this match yet, go out and watch this match in particular. Don't skip over it because the finish is amazing. Jay White actually teases like he's going to nail Finlay with the Styles Clash. He has them all set up for it, but instead of Styles Clashing him, he puts him in a single leg Boston Crab and picks up a submission victory. But yeah, that setup where it looked like he was going for the Styles Clash, I think we all kind of marked out for half a second going, holy shit, is Jay White going to hit AJ's move? It looked like he was going to, but no.
Yeah, he caught him in the corner and stood up and it's like, oh no, he's not going to do this.
And he teased it. For a second, everyone was like, oh my God, is he going to do that? And he didn't, but it was a nice tease. It was a nice little homage to AJ Styles. You had also mentioned, the drop kicks that were going on, like Jay White's taking lessons from Okada. And this is something that I had wanted to bring up too, because I've seen Okada do this. He did this in this show and Jay White did this in the show too. These, beautiful shotgun drop kicks from the top turnbuckle. And it's something that I've noticed in New Japan. And maybe it's a trend now, but I haven't really seen many missile drop kicks, but I've seen a lot of really good looking shotgun drop kicks where they'll land on their buttocks and the small of their back. And I'm just wondering if taking that bump is less than what you would take from a missile drop kick.
I think it would probably be taking more because it's a harder impact than it would be landing on your side and your arms. You're landing basically flat on your back and on your ass.
More of a strong style off the top.
I think it would be a little bit more jarring.
Because, yeah, I mean, I have yet to see a top rope missile drop kick. I've seen springboard missiles, but I have not seen a top turnbuckle missile drop kick. But I have seen a lot of the top turnbuckle shotgun drop kicks. And, yeah, this was ripped right out of Okada's book. If you want to see how an opening match should be put on, this was two young lions who just went out there and gave it their all.
Very nice. Much better than the next match.
Yeah, well, briefly cover this one. We had, in match number 2, the team of Jushin Liger, Tiger Mask, and Ryosuke Taguchi taking on Gato, Yoshihashi, and Kazushi Sakuraba. Your thoughts here first, Abby?
I liked the Sakuraba-Liger interactions. That was about the only thing I liked about this match. Stupid ass Taguchi running around still mocking Nakamura. Somebody needs to tell him that Nakamura's gone, and he needs to find somebody else to make fun of. Yeah,
I remember tweeting on Twitter, I said, I would mark out huge if Taguchi just started up a Daniel Bryan yes chant.
Yes chant. Yeah, I don't think he's going to do that, though. I think he's stuck in Nakamura mode.
I think, yeah, he's kind of stuck in the Japanese mode, and specifically Nakamura, and sometimes he'll mock other people. But I mean, yeah, mix it up. If you want to stay in Japan mode, it's like mock Muda, hit a Shining Wizard or something, or Green Mist somebody. But, yeah, this wasn't a great match.
Nakamura was all over the show, though. I mean, at least 2 or 3 references to him in every match.
There were some homages that were paid to him. There was that homage in the first match that was paid to AJ Styles. Yeah, unfortunately in this match it was, the Clown Prince of Comedy, Taguchi, who was, he did the Swags K, but he didn't hit his bomb assay. He had a clothesline from Yoshihashi for his disrespect of Nakamura there. And yeah, there was a nice Tiger Driver pin that Tiger Mask had on Yoshihashi that got a 2 count in this match. But other than that, it was kind of eh. Gato's beard tripped somebody up, I think.
That thing is horrible.
He's got this alien on his chin and his throat that.
Yeah,
it's not good like Michael Elgin's beard. Michael Elgin's beard could kick Gato's beard's ass.
Yeah, I started a petition this morning with Jado saying, just go after him with a weed whacker when he's sleeping and trim that thing up.
We'll take up a collection for you.
What surprised me in this one, though, was that Taguchi actually got the win.
He did, and he got the win with a submission hold.
Ankle lock on Gato.
Yeah, reverse ankle lock on Gato, which was kind of odd to see those two involved in the finish of this match. Although, yeah, I noted conspicuously absent from this card was Captain New Japan, so there wasn't anybody
Thank
really
God.
obvious to eat the pin. But yeah, Taguchi getting a win by submission was definitely something that we don't see every day.
No.
But yeah, we'll move on, and I will let you announce the next match and who the participants were, because you have very unique nicknames for each team.
Yes, this was the Crazy Uncles versus the Ornery Uncles.
And who are the Ornery Uncles and Crazy
The
Uncles?
Ornery Uncles are Nakanishi and Nagata, and the Crazy Uncles are Tenzan and Kojima. Tenkozy.
Gozi versus Blue Justice and Marabu Naganishi.
Yes, I was really rooting for the Ornery Uncles because there's just something about Nakanishi that I really like. But
and your thoughts on this match here?
they always put on good matches. I mean, with 100 years of experience between them, you can't really have a bad match.
Yeah, I remember tweeting at the time, I'm like, yeah, all four men combined in the ring, yeah, their age is up, they're still younger than The Undertaker.
I mean, it was good. I'm guessing that, the winner of this one gets a shot at the IWGP Tag Team Championships sometime down the road.
They should, because they really don't have any other heavyweight tag teams, especially with Gallows and Anderson's last match coming up on the 14th.
Yeah, this is true. I would much prefer Nagata and Nakanishi to Tenkozy. I think Tenkozy has kind of run its course, especially in the tag team division. How many have they won? Like 15, 27, 92, something like that.
It's just
Gives
ridiculous.
somebody else, a chance.
There was a spot in this match that I really liked where Tenzan tried to Irish whip Nakanishi to the ropes, and just Nakanishi refused to be Irish whipped, and then he just leveled Tenzan with a lariat for even trying to Irish whip him, and I'm like, that is just classic Manabu Nakanishi right there.
Yeah, he's not going to move unless he wants to.
And yeah, he's talk about maybe not the stone pit, but he could be the granite pit bull. Another guy with no neck right there, no neck Nakanishi.
He's got more of a neck than Ishii does. Of course, anybody has more of a neck than Ishii does.
Yeah, Ishii is just like chin to chest.
But yeah, it was a match. It filled some time.
Nagata broke up the count of 2 after Tenkozy hit the 3D on Nakanishi. And the finish was kind of interesting. Nakanishi kicked out of the first Cozy lariat from Kojima. Kojima just undeterred gets up, nailed him with a second lariat, and gets the pinfall victory. It's like, okay, you want to kick out at 1 here, take another one. So kind of an interesting finish from the Ornery Uncles and the Crazy Uncles, as you like to call them there.
The Ornery Uncles said at the end, or at least Nagata did, that, they've still got it and they're going for the tag titles. So thank goodness we have, 2 translators on Twitter that can help us understand what's being said.
Yes, Striga definitely helps out a lot with that. Shout out.
Who is it? Chris Carlton and what's his name? Oh, Lord. Oh, the other guy that's always doing the translating.
I'm not sure.
I'm too busy. Oh, I can't remember his name. Starts with an E.
Is it Anavito?
No. No, he does some things.
He follows me on Twitter, and I follow him.
Lord, now I'm going to look this crap up.
It's like a red, white, and blue bird thingy. I know what you're talking about. But yeah, anyway, while she's looking that up, next match that we had is Kushida teaming up with Juice Robinson and Michael Elgin taking on Los Ingobernables de Japan, Bushi, Evil, and Tetsuya Naito. And it was really sad because Tetsuya Naito didn't have anybody to unmask in this match, because Kushida doesn't wear a mask, and Juice Robinson doesn't wear a mask, and Michael Elgin doesn't wear a mask, and Naito didn't try to take Elgin's beard off, but on his way to the ring, one of the TV commentators showed that he was wearing a Yuji Nagata shirt, and the commentator in his English kept saying, "Justice, justice, justice," until Naito just literally ripped the shirt right off of the TV commentator. So that was kind of cool. I actually give Naito props for that. I will give credit where credit's due, because I was getting sick of hearing justice, justice, justice.
It kind of got old. Naito's not happy unless he's stripping somebody of something. Yeah,
at least he didn't try to take Elgin's beard off or Juice Robinson's dreads off.
He did try to take Juice's dreads off. He was whipping him around ringside with them.
After was that the after the match stuff?
That was right as the match started.
Okay, right when they cleared the ring and threw everybody to the outside, and your typical Los Ingobernables heel stuff. And with this is one where you can kind of guess just by looking at the names who's going to eat the pinfall. You know, it's probably not going to be anybody on Los Ingobernables. They're building them up as monster heels. It's not going to be Kushida. He's the junior heavyweight champion. It's not going to be Michael Elgin. He's a beast. So that kind of leaves Juice Robinson. And indeed, it was Juice Robinson who took an STO from Evil and picked up the pinfall victory for Los Ingobernables.
Yeah, this one was more about setting up Bushi and Kushida for Sunday in their match.
Yeah, which is coming up. Is that stupid o'clock or is that pre-stupid o'clock?
No, I think that's stupid o'clock. It's according to the New Japan schedule, it's 6:30. So I think that's 4:30.
So that would be 4:30. So that is stupid o'clock. Yeah, waking up at 3 is rough. Yeah, there wasn't much going on with this. We had Evil come into his ring with the typical crushed velvet robe and the PowerPoint presentation finger laser pointer and his dollar store sky. Or Party City Sky, or wherever it is that he got this cheap-looking plastic sky thing. But
yeah, it wasn't much to write home about other than, setting up Bushi and Kushida for Sunday.
Yeah, it's just your typical, streak your hair pink and blonde, and you too can call yourself Evil.
Yeah, but you got to wear crushed velvet. You cannot forget the crushed velvet.
What makes it.
Yes, because it is definitely evil.
Evil. Although Juice Robinson did pull he did use a jackhammer at one point in the match, which was pretty cool.
He is the loudest son of a bitch in the ring. He needs to shut up.
Juice Robinson?
Yes, just screaming and hollering and hooting, and it got a little bit much this morning.
A little much for you, but yeah, I wonder if Shinsuke Girl has booked her ticket to Dallas yet.
I missed her, in a weird way. I kept waiting to hear little girl or old woman by the camera microphone, screaming, Shinsuke!
Every 5 seconds. But yeah, it just didn't feel like a New Japan show without Shinsuke Girl chiming in every 5 seconds. Shinsuke! It's sad, but maybe she'll follow him to WWE and we'll get that in WWE.
God, I hope not. I don't miss her that much.
Alrighty. Moving on, we had a title match next. We had the never openweight 6-man tag team champion, the champions, Abby's spirit animal, Toru Yano, and the Briscoes, Mark and Jay Briscoe, taking on Tama Tonga, Bad Luck Fale, and Yujiro Takahashi. Your thoughts on this match?
I missed Mao. I thought for sure we'd see her.
I was popping big time because I got retweeted by Mao twice before 5 a.m. this morning.
I did too.
Which is always a good thing. But yeah, New Japan, if you're listening, bring back Mao. Like I said in my tweet, bringing out other girls with Takahashi is kind of like what Coca-Cola did with New Coke in the 80s. It's just not working. We want Mao. Bring Mao back.
Supposedly, the Sleaze's girls have regions. So there's a certain girl for each region. And Mao is, I'm not real sure what region is hers.
That'd be like the Tokyo region, maybe? I don't know. Bigger shows. It should be.
This was not a great match, but this was not a bad match. I'm still trying to figure out why they even put the never 6-man titles on the Briscoes and Yano if they were just going to lose them a month later.
I don't know how much the title means or what they're going to build up for. One thing I liked about this was we finally did get to see the whole redneck kung fu sequence from Mark Briscoe. That was pretty cool. That was
great.
It's like seeing that in New Japan. It's like, alrighty. It's like redneck kung fu comes to the Orient. Awesome.
And in the end, Yano hit his patented double low blow on the Sleaze and Fale, and then Tama came up behind him and nailed him and head shrinker DDT, and we have new champions.
We do, and the turnbuckle pads, as usual, didn't stand a chance once Yano got into the ring.
Of course not.
And Tama Tonga actually took a slingshot into that corner that was missing the turnbuckle padding, which was pretty cool. And one of your favorite spots happens where Yano just slaps the back of Bad Luck Fale's bald head.
That just tickles me every time it happens. That and how scared Yano acts of Tama. Anytime he gets too close, it's like, no.
That was a great spot where, and it happens in pretty much every match, but it worked really well in this match where Tama Tonga was just kind of slithering, almost like a snake, just going behind Yano, and Yano would turn around and Tama Tonga would slither back to the other side and just didn't see him. And I just love that spot with Tama Tonga and Yano. The two of them work really well together.
Mm-hmm.
But we have new 6-man, never open weight tag team champions. It is the Bullet Club, Takahashi, the Sleaze, Bad Luck Fale, and his cousin Tama Tonga.
I'm glad that Tama finally has a championship. I keep wishing for him to have a singles run of some kind of meaning and significance, but
I
if
wouldn't
that
mind
can't
seeing him go for
happen,
the never open singles championship against Shibata.
I don't want him to die.
Can I just say, hooray for Takahashi? That's all I have to say.
What?
Since I'm the only fan of Takahashi here, so.
You might be the only fan of Takahashi anywhere.
Even Mao doesn't like Takahashi.
Nobody likes him.
All right, I'll be
Except
the one.
you.
Your hate for Takahashi is Your hate for Takahashi is right up there with my hate for Naito.
Yeah, it's just, God, it was like 2 seconds into his entrance, and it's like, God, I already want to shower in Clorox. This is just so bad.
That's kind of how I feel during Kenny Omega's
That's exactly
entrances.
why I like him, because he's so sleazy.
He just oozes scum. I mean, ugh.
I don't know. I kind of feel like every wrestling promotion needs one sleazy, slimy, disreputable, nefarious, loathsome Lothario character, and Yujiro Takahashi is that guy for me in New Japan.
I've got some Ken Puro cards of Takahashi. I'll send them to you. They're just as sleazy and slimy as he is.
Fair enough.
Ugh.
Anyway, we'll move on to the next match on the card. We had another title match going on, and this was a 3-way tag team match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. This is the deepest tag team division you'll ever see. We had the champions, the Young Bucks, Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson, taking on Red Dragon, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, and also taking on Matt Sydal and Ricochet. Abby, take it away with this match.
Another match where I don't understand why they put the titles on the Young Bucks just to have them lose them, 45 days later to a tag team that's not really a tag team.
True, but the match itself was good, and between
the
this
match was really good.
Between this match and the match that followed, they both were kind of equally weighted in my mind for match of the night.
Yeah, Cody Hall was out there, which just pissed me off to no end.
Yeah,
especially when he picked up Kyle O'Reilly and, hit him in the back somewhere. I don't know if he locked him in a room or threw him outside, but Kyle was never seen again.
Yeah, again, for the Angry Marks who are listening who haven't watched this is another match you want to watch for several reasons. But one of the spots, it had Cody Hall at ringside pick up, or I guess it was O'Reilly doing his that rebounding spot through the ropes that Dean Ambrose stole. And yeah, he does that spot, and Cody Hall kind of catches him and just runs to the back, up the entrance ramp and to the back, just carrying a kicking and screaming Kyle O'Reilly to the back there, which was just kind of bizarre. That was one of the bizarre spots of the match, but the finish to this match was amazing. Would you like to talk about the finish to this one, Abby?
It was beautiful. I mean, those double shooting star presses that Sydal and Ricochet do are just death-defying. Ricochet is so good. I enjoy him so much in New Japan. Can't say I've seen him under the mask in Lucha Underground, but in New Japan, he's just great.
Go out of your way to see Prince Puma in Lucha Underground. It's fantastic.
He's every bit as good as Ricochet as he is as Prince Puma. It's a different character, but it's equally as entertaining. And for the Angry Marks who haven't seen this match in New Japan, the finish was just great. Both Ricochet and Matt Sydal hit simultaneous shooting star presses from the top turnbuckles onto both members of the Young Bucks and picked up the pinfall victory. So we do have new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champions, Matt Sydal and Ricochet. So hopefully they'll be in and out of New Japan more often. Hopefully they'll be around as part of this junior tag team division that is right now very deep, but hey, let's keep it that way.
Yeah, I just hope they don't start hot-shotting the titles. I mean, New Japan is not known for that, and they don't need to start doing it, every other big show where they start changing titles out.
They don't need to, but if they're going to do it, I don't mind so much that they do it with something like the Never Openweight Championship. And as much as I like the Junior Heavyweight Championship, I think it's kind of lesser that they would hotshot it with that of an effect than it would be if they hotshotted the heavyweight tag team titles. I'm not saying they're not important, but if they're going to do it with any titles, those are two to do it with.
Yeah.
But it was still a fantastic match, and definitely check out this entire card and that match in particular. We'll move on to another match that in its own right could have been match of the night. This was another championship match. This was for the Never Openweight Singles Championship. we had Katsuyori Shibata, the champion, taking on Mr. No Neck himself, the Stone Pitbull, Tomohiro Ishii. Are there points and highlights of this match that you'd like to cover, Abby?
This was just brutal and beautiful. I mean, there are no other words for it. It was perfect. You know, it almost hurt at times to watch, but at the same time, it was just a beautifully done match. And you know that these two men have to trust each other implicitly or really fucking hate each other to do what they do in the ring.
Beat the hell out of each other. There's two things that really stuck out in my mind about this match. First one kind of comes right off the bat. Ishii and Shibata have done this to a lesser extent, almost to the same extent in this match, but it seemed for a good solid minute, like a good 60 seconds straight, Ishii and Shibata from the get-go were trading forearm and elbow strikes. And
yeah.
For a solid minute, like no exaggeration, no hyperbole. They were trading forearm and elbow shots to start this match out for a solid minute. That was the first thing that stuck out in my mind about this match. The second one was where Ishii crumples Shibata to the mat with a shot to the throat. Shibata gets up and returns the favor and just decks Ishii with a shot to the throat. And Red Shoes warns them both about not getting any more shots to the throat. And that kind of became a meme on Twitter for that moment of all of us.
Yeah, Red Shoes looked pained. You know, he was like, "Oh God, stop! Just stop!" But yeah, those chops to the throat, those to me are about as painful looking as those headbutts, which I was very appreciative that, you know, they didn't headbutt each other in the head during the match.
Yeah, one of my tweets that I did live about Ishii and Shibata and those throat shots, I said somewhere in the back, Tomoaki Hanma is cringing watching those.
Yeah.
Crushed larynx and all. But this was just a great solid match. It had the no-selling and the back and forth no-selling that you would expect between Ishii and Shibata. It had the lariats. It had, at one point, they were no-selling each other's vertical suplexes. Ishii no-sold a Death Valley driver and then no-sold a German suplex. It was just a fantastic back and forth match that ended. I really don't like the finisher, the sleeper into the penalty kick, but it is what it is. It was still a fantastic match, and Katsuyori Shibata retains the never openweight championship in this match.
Yeah, and this was another match where Nakamura was all over it with Shibata using that armbar that Nakamura made so famous over there.
The hanging cross arm breaker.
Yeah, on his, you know, on Nakamura's best friend.
Mm-hmm. On Ishii, yeah, that was one of the homages there, and I was expecting Ishii when he was in that armbar to, you know, use that armbar, lift up Shibata, the much lighter man, and powerbomb him, but we didn't see that spot. I believe he fought to the ropes. Yeah, he had to fight to the ropes to get out of that one.
Well, probably because he was bleeding from the mouth and it had the shit beat out of him. He probably couldn't lift anything up.
It appears that Shibata is bleeding from the mouth, and Abby tweets back at me, he is.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Ishii did get cut in the mouth fairly early in this match. And yeah, had a bloody mouth going through it. So that was great, strong style match. And yeah, in no way led into the match that would follow with Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows, and Kenny Omega taking on Hiroshi Tanahashi, Tomoaki Hanma, and Togi Makabe.
I don't know what the hell was going on top of Tana's head during this match, but I didn't like it.
Oh, Tana was in full hair care mode with at least 4 braids on his head and the ponytail. Like, he didn't do this in the last shows, but he did it for this show. He had the braids and the ponytail going.
I don't even think it was the ponytail. I think he had it all braided up on one side and the other shit was just kind of flopping around with a whole heap of hairspray.
Sticking out the back in a ponytail shape.
Yeah, and then he and Omega got in the ring and I tweeted out, Lordy at the hair in this match. And then we started the Southern thing back and forth.
Yeah, the kiss my grits and
everything.
Yeah, you said Lordy, and I'm like, I'm marking out big time for the Southerners saying Lordy.
Kenny just, I don't know about his hair. I love Kenny Omega, but you know the hair is just. And
Striga tweeted this too, but I would love to see Kenny Omega versus Hiroshi Tanahashi in a hair versus hair match, or Tanahashi versus Naito in a hair versus hair match.
I wouldn't care about Naito going bald. He needs to shave that bird's nest anyway, but
yeah.
Tana just got beat the hell out of in this one, especially after the match.
He did, and yeah, it was after the match. Bullet Club is going out just destroying him with the chair that actually broke from the abuse it took beating Tanahashi with it. Setting up an angle because Tanahashi is taking on Kenny Omega for the vacant IWGP Intercontinental title at the show on the 14th. But for real, after you're done beating him up, what kind of 2-bit heels are you if you've got Tanahashi beat down and you don't cut his hair?
Exactly.
Stupid. You've got Tanahashi beat to the match. He's selling this injury as he finally does limp off to the back. While he's down, take out a pair of scissors and cut his hair. That just screams Bullet Club. That screams we are heels.
There was one moment in the match where the cleaner, being, Kenny Omega, got a broom and started sweeping at Tana's face. And there's a picture out there on Twitter that I have saved. I think I might actually print that out and have it framed. With the broom going across Tana's face. It's like, that was just so good.
Face. If only they could have swept his hair away, too.
Yeah. But yeah, this was all about setting up Kenny and Tana.
It was less about that. Yeah, the actual match itself, Kenny Omega pinned Tomoaki Honma with the one-wing angel, but it wasn't anything to write home about. There was a bit of a comedy spot where Anderson mocked Honma's Kokeshi gesture, tried to do a Kokeshi senton and missed, and that was kind of like the highlight of the match for me.
It did what it was supposed to do, set up 2 singles matches or set up the tag team match and the Intercontinental match for Sunday.
Yeah. And Tana got the hell beat out of him after the match, which doesn't suck.
But it does mean that Super Tana will win come Sunday.
That's what you were saying. I also tweeted, the Bullet Club tweeted, how proudly they had beaten down Tana, and I, replied to their tweet. I said that, yeah, okay, you took out one John Cena here in New Japan, and when Doc and Carl go to WWE, they can take out the other John Cena in the same fashion.
Yes, please do.
Please do. Please go after the other John Cena with a chair once you get to WWE and have both Cenas out. That would be wonderful. But we'll move on to the main event of the evening. We had the IWGP Heavyweight Championship being defended. Kazuchika Okada was defending the title against Hiroki Goto, and I will let you take it away on Goto and how he came to the ring.
Goto I don't know if he was in Hakushi mode or if he was in war mode or if he got drunk and somebody attacked him with a Sharpie. I'm not sure, but he came out painted up this silver white color with, kanji script all over him. And that was the most interesting thing he did during this whole match. Like
if you took Hakushi from like his WWF days where he had the kanji all painted up, or like he did in the Japan pay-per-view shows, you take that Hakushi gimmick and you mix that with Ermac from Mortal Kombat, the red ninja, the red cyborg ninja, or Sector, that's who I'm thinking of, Sector from Mortal Kombat, the red cyborg ninja. That's kind of what Hiroki Goto looked like coming to the ring. He had silver body paint on, black hand-painted kanji all over his body, this red mask thing that covered like his nose and mouth, this like pseudo ninja thing. It was surreal. It was interesting to see, and if that's going to be his gimmick going forward, hey, more power to him. Or if he only does that for pay-per-views, whatever, more power to him. But it was definitely an eye catcher, I'll say that. Yeah, and that was the most interesting part of the match. Unfortunately, that was kind of interesting, and I always mark out when Kazuchika Okada hits one of his lesser-known moves that never finishes a move anymore, like Heavy Rain or Deep in Dead. He hit Heavy Rain in this match, but if he does, like Deep in Dead or Red Ink, I kind of mark out for those lesser moves that aren't the Rainmaker. Yeah, it didn't click for me. There was something not right. I don't know if it was the way the match was laid out. I don't know if it was because Goto just didn't do anything like we were all expecting him to do. Building up to this, he went all batshit crazy and would attack Okada constantly. And then they come out and have come out and have the same match they've had for the last several years. Well, not only the same match that they've had, but this was kind of Goto's chance to be elevated to the next level. And to me, it just seemed like Goto was being the same old Goto that we've always seen. He, other than coming out in this Hakushi Mortal Kombat style getup, he really didn't change things up much. And with the innovative offense that he has, he really had a chance to shine in this match, and it just seemed like he didn't grab the proverbial brass ring, as Vince McMahon would say. No, he didn't live up to the hype or the paint job. And in this match, call back to what Jay White did earlier, paying homage to Okada. We did have a nice shotgun drop kick from the top turnbuckle that Okada nailed Goto with in this match too. But yeah, it was Kazuchika Okada who retained the title here. by pinfall after drilling Gato with not one, not two, but 3 consecutive Rainmaker lariats.
Well, he deserved them. It was funny this afternoon. I think it was this afternoon or earlier this evening that Goto tweeted out, I want to vanish. And then Taguchi, tweeted out, tranquilo, you pariah. And it's like the ultimate troll just has to, needle people. Maybe he'll start making fun of Goto.
And what we haven't got to yet is the interesting verbal the verbal challenge that was made by Okada after the match. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, Okada got on the microphone after the match was over and Goto, said his piece and said that he went on about somebody who left here last month, said that pro wrestling was the greatest thing ever. And Okada said that he was the greatest wrestler in the world and that New Japan was the greatest wrestling in the world. And then threw out a odd little invitation for Goto to join Chaos after proclaiming himself the leader of Chaos. Yeah,
and
came out of the blue.
Shelley Deathlock, she tweeted, hey, hold on there. She's like, Nakamura's seat on the bus isn't even cold yet.
Yeah, and Chaos has never had a leader, so I don't know. There was a lot of little things that came out of that.
Yeah, I don't know if I want Gato going to Chaos. It just doesn't seem like his gimmick, and isn't he part of that stable that sort of still exists but doesn't?
Yeah, it's not a good fit for him.
Yeah, I thought he was part of that GHB or whatever that stable that Togi Makabe sort of is.
I don't know. They seem to only hook up when it's convenient. It's not like it's a everyday kind of thing.
So that was the pay-per-view, and I guess we'll see. Who was it? The Crazy Uncles or the Ornery Uncles? One of them challenging for the heavyweight tag team championship sometime in the future, and I really hope they start bringing over like Killer Elite Squad and some of the other Suzuki-gun guys from Noah, which kind of segues nicely into what I'd like to talk about next in regards to New Japan, which is the announcement of the Lionsgate promotion.
Is it a promotion or is it just a show?
They're calling it Lionsgate. They're calling it Project One, which leads me to believe there's going to be 2 of them. There was an article that I read on ProWrestlingAuthority.com that says that New Japan is using this the same way that WWE uses NXT, that this is going to be like a developmental type promotion or developmental type series of shows that is not only going to feature the New Japan Young Lions, but is also going to feature talent from other promotions as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure TK did a really good job on that one. I'm not sure. Well, he's listening, so sorry, but I'm not sure he got that right. I think it's more of a one-off or two-off show. I'm not sure it's an actual project that both Noah and New Japan are kicking off. It would be nice if it was. It gives both organizations and their younger talent a little bigger stage to perform on.
I'm hoping. Yeah, I mean, it says Lionsgate Project One. I'm looking at the card here, and it's got guys like Juice Robinson are on the card. Tenkozi's going to make an appearance. Nakanishi is going to be there. Quiet Storm is going to be there. Old favorite Yoshinari Ogawa is going to be there, taking on Jay White. David Finlay is going to be there. So, I mean, yeah, it has the potential to lead into a lot of crossover angles between New Japan and Noah and perhaps any other freelancers that, want to come in and work that angle. It does provide them with that opportunity. And I really hope that this isn't going to be a one-off or a two-off, because this seems to be something that would benefit both New Japan and Noah at this point.
Yeah, and it adds a little bit more depth to both of the rosters and a little bit more interest, especially when New Japan is really thin right now and kind of stale when you look at it. It's like the same things over and over with the same guys over and over.
Right, and if you're going to show, the Lionsgate shows on NJPW World, that's great. We're getting some variety. I mean, unless you want to outright just start showing Noah shows on NJPW World, which they don't do at this point, then this seems like a good step to take, kind of an intermediate step or a compromise to make on that end.
Yeah, I mean, I would love it if it was actually something that was starting from the ground up and did have kind of an NXT progression to it. I think it would be great for both companies. Well, they're actually the same company, but each promotion.
Yeah, all owned by Bushi Road. So, Yeah, hopefully it wasn't a jumping the gun type scenario, because I'd really like to see this take off as a promotion. And the first Lionsgate project show is coming up on the 25th of February. And for all of those who want to see somebody worse than Captain fucking New Japan, Captain Noah will be in action on this card here.
I want to see Captain Noah and Captain New Japan fight it out.
Oh, in a one-on-one match.
In a one-on-one match where, death is the only way to win.
Oh, you mean like a barbed wire, double hell, fluorescent light tube, 50,000 volt exploding C4 piranha cactus death match?
Yeah, as long as one of them dies, I'm good.
as long as one of them dies.
As long as one of them dies.
It's been a minute since we've seen Captain Noah. I think, when did he, I think I saw him, what was that pay-per-view? Was that Dominion that we saw him at last in New Japan? Like Dominion or like Dontaku or Dominion or one of those. I think it was Dominion, because Dominion was kind of like the SummerSlam that New Japan puts on. It's kind of like their big pay-per-view that isn't Wrestle Kingdom. It's kind of that halfway point in between Wrestle Kingdoms.
I don't care. It's just one of those masked idiots needs to die.
I'm looking forward to that, but before then, we do have another New Beginning card. The second half of New Beginning takes place Sunday the 14th. We can run down that card if you'd like to.
Okay.
We have your favorite wrestler, Captain New Japan. He's teaming up with Tiger Mask and Jushin Liger, taking on your other favorite wrestler, Cody Hall and the Young Bucks. And yeah, I don't think there's any doubt in this one who's going over and who's eating the pin.
Maybe Captain New Japan can, fly Cody off to Siberia and dump him.
I would be very surprised if anyone other than Captain New Japan ends up eating the pin in this one.
No, that's true. He always eats the pin.
Yeah, I can't see Cody Hall getting pinned. I can't see any of the Young Bucks getting pinned. It's going to be Captain New Japan counting the lights. We've got just a regular tag team match between Red Dragon and Gato and Kazushi Sakuraba. Thoughts
that
on
will
this
suck.
One? That will be interesting. But you've got the shoot style from Kazushi Sakuraba, and you've got like that ROH style from Red Dragon, and then you've got Gato in his beard. So that's a whole bunch of different styles.
Yeah, it's like an unfair advantage. It's like 3-on-2. Gato's beard is its own little entity.
And yeah, it's 3-on-2 match. Gato tags in his beard. Yeah, that was one thing I was wondering today in that 3-team tag team match for the junior tag team champions. What if you tagged? What am I trying to say here? What if you made it so somebody tagged you in while your partner was in? Could you eat the pin, and could your partner pin you to win the match?
I don't think so. I don't think it works that way.
I'd like to see that angle happen sometime. That would be funny, but yeah, it would have to be a match with Captain New Japan in it.
Yeah.
Next on the card for the 14th, we have an 8-man tag team match. Interesting teams thrown together. We have Matt Sydal and Ricochet, the newly crowned IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, teaming up with Ten Cozy, Satoshi Kojima, and Hiroshi Tenzan, taking on this mismatched team of David Finlay, Ryosuke Taguchi, and then who are these? The Ornery Uncles, Manabu Nakanishi and Yuji Nagata?
Yeah, those are the Ornery Uncles.
With the Ornery Uncles, so...
Well, they're older, and they're, you can just see them standing out on the yard, like, get off my yard. You can just
get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Didn't you say you wanted to see Nagata saying, get off my lawn?
Yeah, him or Nakanishi, either one. Kind of a reality show where they're just screaming at kids.
That would be fun. Like, just follow them around, like everywhere in Japan that they go on tour, just walking the streets, yelling at kids.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who do you see winning in this match?
Whatever team does not have Juice.
Juice Robinson is not on either team.
Oh, I thought he was on one of those teams.
No.
I see David Finlay eating the pin then. Poor David. He's got to win a match someday.
He does. Maybe his next match against Jay White he can win.
Well, I think they swap off, so maybe he needs to win.
He's due for a win. He's a young lion. He works his ass off, and those forearm shots he throws are just devastating.
Mm-hmm.
Next match, we have Tetsuya Naito and Evil taking on Jay White and Michael Elgin.
I can't see Los Ingobernables losing. I don't want to see Elgin lose. But
I
I
don't want to
just
see
see,
Elgin lose, and I can see Jay White eating the pin, but what really intrigues me is this Clash of Styles tag team that you have with Jay White and Michael Elgin. I think this could have legs. I'd like to see them work as a tag team more often.
yeah, it could be interesting.
You've got, more of a high-flying, faster style with Jay White, and then just a brutal, power, strong style, bash your face and smash mouth wrestling style of Michael Elgin.
Yeah, I want to see Elgin get his hands on Naito.
That would be funny. I'd like to see him hit that deadlift avalanche Falcon Arrow on Naito. That would not suck at all.
But I think they're trying to build up to something between Evil and Elgin. I don't know why, but I think they are.
Just don't shave his beard off.
No.
It's like Samson. The beard is the source of his strength there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see Jay White eating the pin in that one, sadly. And then we kind of have a rematch for the 6-man titles, except I don't believe it's a title match. We have Jay and Mark Briscoe and Toru Yano taking on Tama Tonga, the Sleaze, and Bad Luck Fale.
Yano needs his win back.
I can see that team. I don't know if Yano specifically will get the win, but I can see, especially with it not being a title match, just give him the win back, and that can set up a rematch for the title down the road at some point later on.
Yeah.
Assuming they haven't hotshotted the title to some other team of 3 guys. But we move on to the match where the guy you were looking for is Juice Robinson is teaming with Katsuyori Shibata and Hiroki Goto, taking on Yoshihashi, Tomohiro Ishii, the man with no neck, and Kazuchika Okada.
I see Chaos winning that one.
Yeah, I think Juice Robinson is counting the lights in this one too.
Unless, isn't Yoshihashi in it unless he gets pinned.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I can see. It's like, I think the more interesting story here is going to be, what Ishii does in the ring against Shibata and what Okada does in the ring against Goto.
Goto's he's got to do something, or else this was just all for naught these last couple of, months.
It's like he is so talented and he is such a diverse arsenal of moves. I just really want him to step it up to the next level, and I know that he's capable of it. He just isn't quite there for some reason. It's like I mark out for the Ushigoroshi, I mark out for the Kaiten, I mark out for the Shoten. The guy is innovative, but his timing is just off, which is really sad. Because if there was any time that he needs to step up, the time is now with everybody leaving, that mass exodus that we've had to endure there. But yeah, following that match, we have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title being defended. We have Bushi challenging the champion Kushida.
I say Bushi wins. I still don't think they know what they're doing with Kushida.
It would make sense with their title hotshot booking that they've been doing lately. I could see that happening. I'm going to say they're going to keep it on Kushida, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if they hotshotted it to Bushi.
Well, the thing is, what have they done with Kushida since he won? He's been stuck in, multi-man tag matches. It's not like he's had a singles match.
There really haven't been that many IWGP Junior Heavyweight singles matches that haven't been title matches either.
I mean, but he hasn't even didn't he win it at Wrestle Kingdom? He hasn't even been in a singles match, period.
I mean, yeah, that's almost as sad as Hiroki Goto's story, because he had won that originally from Best of the Super Juniors, gotten it taken away by Kenny Omega. He wins it back, and he had to kind of chase for it, but yeah, he won it back again at Wrestle Kingdom. But yeah, it's like, what are you going to do not only with Kushida, but what are you going to do with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Singles division to kind of ramp that up now that Kenny Omega has moved to the heavyweight division? And maybe again, that's really bringing in some guys from Noah might help. Especially with the Lionsgate thing, you can bring over some of those guys like Taiji or El Desperado or some of the other junior heavyweights that you could bring over from Noah. Maybe have this like buffer promotion in the middle and then transition them over to New Japan's main roster.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to see, but moving on, we have the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles being defended, because the last match we have for Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows in New Japan taking on the champions Tomoaki Hanma and Togi Makabe, and there is no way that Doc and Carl are going to win the titles and take them to WWE and drop them in a trash can. Not happening. No,
but I think it would be a great swerve if they did win them that night.
And then strip them of them like they did with Nakamura?
I don't know, strip them, but maybe... I know they're not supposed to come into WWE until March, so I don't know. Maybe it'd be interesting at one of the Honor Rising shows with Ring of Honor to have them drop them to, I don't know, the Briscoes maybe.
That would be interesting. Have them drop them to an ROH team. And yeah, because the Briscoes have been in and out of New Japan recently since Wrestle Kingdom. So that, I mean, I would like to see the Briscoes, now that they're not the 6-man tag team champions, they could definitely bring a change of pace to the tag team scene, the heavyweight tag team scene in New Japan, which it's sorely been lacking. We need, much like the WWE needs infusions of fresh blood, New Japan needs some infusions of fresh blood, and definitely at heavyweight champion and definitely at heavyweight tag team champion. So something to look for there, although I still say that Makabe and Hanma are going to retain.
Of course they will.
And in our main event on Valentine's Day, we have Hiroshi Tanahashi. We have John Cena there taking on the guy who looks like he woke up in a KFC dumpster, Kenny Omega.
He's not that bad.
He is the greasiest, dirtiest. Like, you talk about needing a shower when you see Takahashi coming out of the. It's like I see Kenny Omega walking out, and I feel like I need a shower. I feel like the grease from his body is exuding itself through the screen and coating me in this layer of filth.
He's not as greasy as Hamna is. I don't know. After the beatdown, I think it's almost, a lock that Tana's going to win and, stay the gatekeeper for a little while. I don't think that New Japan has enough confidence in Kenny Omega to put that title on him. I think they feel that Tana and Okada need to be the top two, at least for a little while longer.
Yeah, I can see Tanahashi winning that. I can see Omega chasing for that. I guess what I'm looking more in Kenny Omega's direction for, either at this show or maybe at one of the Honor Rising shows, is he going to kick Gallows and Anderson out of Bullet Club like he did with AJ Styles?
I don't think so. I don't think that would send a very good message because, AJ was a newbie in Bullet Club, basically. Anderson was a founding member. Gallows has been there for a long time. I just don't see that happening.
And yeah, for the first time I got to see Elite shirts. The Bullet Club was wearing the Elite shirts kind of in that Star Wars logo lettering, which kind of makes me wonder, is there, because we had Tama Tonga and the Sleaze and Bad Luck Fale coming out to the Bullet Club and wearing Bullet Club gear. Are we going to have kind of a split from, we're going to have Bullet Club be a distinct group and Elite be a distinct group? Are we going to have Bullet Club die and Elite be there, or are we just going to call them both Elite and Bullet Club?
Well, also the Bucks had different music too, because normally they would come out with the Bullet Club logo and everything. They didn't do that.
I wasn't paying attention. I didn't notice that.
They didn't do that. I think we might have the Elite and Bullet Club be the 6-man deal.
Like 6-man tag versus 6-man tag and do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the Bucks, as great t-shirt salesmen as they are, would veer away from the Bullet Club and go into this Elite thing if they were sticking with the original BC guys.
I tell you what t-shirt could outsell them both. Suzuki Goon. You bring in Suzuki Goon, you have Suzuki Goon kill Bullet Club. You have them kill the Elite. You have them take over as a top heel faction. Suzuki Goon merchandise will sell.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Mizu would come in and kill everybody, so that's just kind of like a given.
I'm waiting. I'm biding my time and hoping and praying that is what happens eventually, because we really lack this kind of credible heel, I guess is the term that I'm looking for. We have heels in New Japan, but we really don't have these credible, scary heels.
Yeah, and Suzuki is nothing if not scary.
Suzuki is so scary. Yeah, it's like one of the podcasts that I was listening to this week was talking about heels, and they were like, yeah, when was the last time there was a heel wrestler that actually scared you? I had to think, and I'm like, there really haven't been any, but Suzuki definitely fits that bill now. There's one that does, and that is Suzuki. I mean, the last guy I can think of before that actually scared me as a heel was Bruiser Brody.
Oh, yeah,
Much in the same vein.
I mean, Abdullah the Butcher was scary in a crazy kind of way. Vader had his moments of being scary. Bruiser was always scary. Misu is just, he's like the thing that nightmares are made of.
He fits that bill, and I think that's it wouldn't quite be an infusion of fresh blood, but it's the infusion of blood that New Japan needs right now. They really need a credible heel, because so much in New Japan right now is just kind of blurred between heel and face. I mean, the fans are going to cheer a good performance from a heel or a face regardless, but there's just things with Los Ingobernables that feel forced like heels. There's things from the Bullet Club that just feel forced as heels. But yeah, you bring in Misu and he can do heel stuff that is just fits his character to a T and does not feel forced.
No, and Okada's got to have a next opponent somewhere.
And yeah, that would be one hell of an opponent, putting him against Suzuki.
And looking at the landscape in New Japan right now, he really doesn't have another opponent.
He's got Gato, and he's got...
Well, Goto failed for the 8th fucking time today. I don't think
and
he's going to get a ninth.
Yeah, if Tanahashi ends up winning the title, I mean, who do you have? You've got Hanma. Are you going to put him in against Hanma? Are you going to put him in against Makabe?
Please, God, no.
I mean, I could see a program with Hanma just because Hanma's over like Rover with the fans. They wouldn't be great matches, but you could do it. It would be something different, but it could be done.
See, this is where I think while New Japan rebuilds, they need to start doing a little bit more cross-promoting with either Ring of Honor or Noah.
Are they kind of cutting ties with CMLL at this point?
No, I mean, you had Yohei and Sho go down there and become Raijin and Fujin or whatever they're called now. But they didn't bring anybody in from CMLL for a year to replace Master Dorada. Which
really sucks, because there's one guy that I'd love for them to bring in and keep for a year, and that would be Barbaro Cavernario.
Oh, God, that would be great.
If there's one guy from CMLL that would get over, who's already over with the New Japan crowd, it is Barbaro Cavernario. He proved that at Fantastica Mania, and even before that, at Best of the Super Juniors. The guy just works a style that is just so conducive to what New Japan is and would add stuff. So hopefully they'll bring him back for Best of the Super Juniors again this year.
But I mean, until Ibushi is healed up and ready to come back, New Japan's got like a big hole that they need to fill. And whether whether they fill it with somebody like Elgin or someone else from Ring of Honor like Adam Cole, or, split up Red Dragon for those New Japan shows, and, Bobby Fish or Kyle O'Reilly, either one of them could do great. Bring Roderick Strong in, or bring in some of the guys from Noah like Marufuji or Suzuki, somebody to come in and just kind of fill that void for a little while.
Yeah, at some point New Japan is going to have to bring in new talent, be it cross-promotion, be it kind of borrowing from their sister promotion, Noah. The question is, are they going to do it sooner rather than later? And it seems they're holding off as long as they possibly can before bringing in any new faces, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, but I mean, Nakamura left a huge asshole. Huge.
Well, not only Nakamura, but I mean, Nakamura would have left a huge hole by himself with leaving, but also with him leaving was AJ Styles.
Yeah,
he loses 2 main event IWGP heavyweights right there.
And then the tag team with Anderson and Gallows on their way out. It's kind of like those are slots that need to be filled, and there's nobody to fill them right now.
And yeah, I mean, while they weren't the most prolific tag team in the world or the most prolific singles wrestlers either, I mean, their loss and what that means to Bullet Club is really hurting New Japan as well.
Yeah, and you figure they were at the top of the tag team chain for the last several years. So it's a huge hole in that division.
It's a huge hole, and yeah, Bullet Club loses 3 huge members, and they lose, the reigning IWGP Intercontinental Champion in the span of 1-2 months there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, New Japan is definitely running thin on talent, much as WWE is, just not due to injury. Well, it's partly due to injury with guys like Kota Ibushi, but for the most part, it's due to talent raids. Talent's going elsewhere.
Yeah, I think working with Ring of Honor and working with Noah and having some influx and cross promotion stuff would help out everybody.
Which is nice, and we do have cross promotion shows that are coming up. I haven't seen any lineups for them, but the Honor Rising shows, which are going on the 19th and the 20th of February.
Yeah, I think those cards are supposed to come out, Monday?
We'll take a look, but yeah, we'll talk about that on the show next week. We can go over the Honor Rising cards, the cross promotion between Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. We can talk about that on next week's show once those cards have come out. But yeah, hopefully they'll bring some of those Ring of Honor guys into the fold. Guys like Michael Elgin, they'll keep around. Guys like the Briscoes, they'll keep around. Hell, somebody like Jay Lethal, bring him into the mix.
Well, you can't really have the champion of Ring of Honor coming in and doing full-time stints over in New Japan. But somebody like Adam Cole would be a good fit.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad fit at all.
You know, somebody like Moose, who's going to be facing Okada at the anniversary show at the end of the month in Las Vegas, would be a different kind of fit over there. Just some kind of new face and new blood, something. Take advantage of these, working relationships with other promotions.
Yeah, infusions of new talent, is always a good thing. Is there anything else in the world of New Japan or elsewhere in Japan in the world of wrestling you had wanted to cover, Abby?
No, not particularly. I think that covers everything.
That kind of covers the goings-on that have been happening with New Japan here this week. Anything else you wanted to cover this week here, Stevie?
Well, I believe we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the passing of the monster Kevin Randleman.
He died.
Yeah, Kevin just broke the news on our Skype chat just moments ago. And I'm getting confirmation from Boss Rutan and Jonathan Snowden on the story. Heart failure, I believe you said, Kevin. Pneumonia and heart failure. So, very sad because not only was he a former UFC heavyweight champion, he was somebody that had also expressed his love and admiration for pro wrestling and had done some pro wrestling for All Japan and Pro Wrestling 01. So it's very timely that it comes up right now, but it's also very sad.
And much like Axel Rotten last week, this is someone who's kind of close to our age bracket. Kevin Randleman was only 44 years old.
Yeah. Abby, any thoughts?
No, it's just always sad to hear when someone passes away. It's too many good ones die way too young.
That's true. Well, I believe our friend Jordan Garber wanted to call in and share his whatever's going on with him in the world, so I'll step aside for a minute and let him jump on the line. So, Kevin, if you want to call him, go ahead.
Jordan Garber's trip to the grocery.
Yeah, where's it going to be this week? We need to have that segment every week. Where in the world is he?
I was just thinking that. Where in the world is Jordan Garber? Where in Winnipeg is Jordan Garber?
Hello? Hello?
Hey, Jordan, you're on with Angry Marks.
Oh, hey guys, how you guys doing?
Doing good.
Great to hear.
What's going on?
Where
in the world is Jordan Garber today?
Around the world with Jordan J. Garber. Well, I just walked in the door. I just got home. I finished work, and Jordan Garber's doing good. And Jordan J. Garber apologizes for not being on past episodes because he's just been really busy. But like I said, it's great to be on again, and I hope you all are doing really well.
Well, thank you. Did you want to share any thoughts on Daniel Bryan's retirement?
Yes, Daniel Bryan. The whole situation of him retiring on Monday, definitely one of those scenarios where it's sad for the wrestling business, but it was best for his life and for his future with his wife and everything. So I believe he did the right thing, but it is definitely a sad memory. But if you guys are sad about Daniel Bryan and him retiring, just watch some of his old matches and you'll be all excited all over again. Definitely a legend, and it's so unfortunate for the business to have another legend like Daniel Bryan retire. But some people might not call him a legend, but you know what? He's accomplished so much in the business. He won the WWE title, accomplished so much in Japan and Ring of Honor. He's done it all, and good for him. Well deserved.
And another topic we were talking that you may be aware of too was the suspension of Titus O'Neil. What are your thoughts on that, Jordan?
Well, seeing Titus O'Neil suspended by WWE is definitely delivering a message that once you get to the big time, there's no messing around. Now, I think Vince is a little bit too harsh on the scenario, but definitely Titus O'Neil is suspended. That's the bottom line. But I think 30 days was a little bit too much. I know that's the minimal suspension in WWE, but maybe 10 days could have still sent the same message.
I believe it was originally, 90 days that he got suspended, and now it's down to 60 days?
Yeah, it was 90. Now it's 60.
Definitely one of those things where it's like, he grabbed his arm, but I think what it was is it was a miscommunication and Vince took it the wrong way. So as a result of that, he did get suspended.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and he's going to miss WrestleMania, and with all the guys that are injured, that doesn't bode well for WWE, but they're apparently trying to send a message.
It was just a huge overreaction.
Definitely. And the
So have you set up
now,
a Twitter
guys,
account for Parrot Shirts yet, Jordan?
I did not. I set up a Twitter account for what? Sorry?
Your Parrot Shirts.
Oh my goodness. I didn't create a Twitter account for my Parrot Shirt, but that is a good idea. Maybe we could get a Jordan J. Garber Parrot Shirt Twitter going underway. That would be definitely awesome. I wonder how many followers I would get. But definitely, the shirt's still there. Hopefully people still buy the shirt. And, yeah, of course, follow Jordan J. Garber on Twitter, at Jordan J. Garber.
I think Abby and I know a bunch of fitness models that would probably follow you.
Oh my God, where do these people come from?
Every time that we're watching New Japan pay-per-views at 3 a.m, I will always get retweeted by these fake fitness model profiles that will retweet my posts with sentences that are just randomly generated from English words. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's like this morning.
Crazy.
I had 3 or 4 people do that with like 7 followers, and it's like, what the fuck? That went on a blocking flurry.
Although I am happy
because I kind of just don't view their tweets. Like I said, I'll block them if I really have to. If it's really a spam account, but if it's just some random Mark just tweeting me, or if he keeps tweeting me or whatever, I'll just ignore it. I won't actually block them, because if you block them, you lose the follower. And as you know, Jordan J. Garber loves every one of his followers. So I won't block on Twitter that much unless I really hate you.
Well, I mean, these are people with like brand new accounts with 3 followers that post retweet something about New Japan and, retweet it. Why are you texting me about fences every 10 minutes?
Well, not only that, we were talking about the Gato versus Okada match, and I mentioned how the pacing was slow, and this Twitter account called the Slowbot responds to my response to Abby saying, "Who mentioned slow? Was it you, Great Sudoku?" And it's like...
Yeah, I don't
really,
like the bots.
The spot just goes around trolling the entirety of Twitter, looking for usages of the word slow. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Definitely. Crazy people on Twitter nowadays. That's why a lot of people don't have Twitter, because you get these little crazy Twitter bots that do this. And I wonder how they get created. Are these actually like people behind these things, or are these just computers? I don't know.
No, these are just scripted. This is just computer code that goes trolling for people who post, the word slow and then...
Or the word diet, or the word fitness, or, just these weird-ass things.
Yeah, just Twitter bots. The latest and greatest in spam technology.
Well, at least it counts as an extra follower, technically.
I don't know. I have a weird Japanese follower, I think, who is sending me anonymous stuff in the mail.
In the postal mail?
Yes, postal mail. Somehow got my address.
Oh my goodness.
I got an envelope this week full of Nakamura and Devitt Kempuro cards and Okada bucks.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
Yeah, but these are rare. These are rare cards. I mean, it's not like these are just normal, everyday, run-of-the-mill cards.
You have a New Japan stalker.
Happy Valentine's Day from your stalker.
And it was like, well, the thing that worries me is how the hell did they get my mailing address?
Oh, it's probably because have you subscribed to any like magazines or anything?
No.
Or anything along those lines?
No, nothing. I've not ordered anything from Japan. I have not, I'm not listed in the phone book. So it's like, how the hell did these people, it was nice. The gesture was nice, but it was kind of creepy at the same time.
#because Japan.
I don't know, but it's kind of, I appreciate it, and I thanked my anonymous Japanese mailer, but, it's still kind of creepy that this person knows where I live.
And also, as somebody who orders a lot of things from Japan, shipping is not cheap. It can cost you $20 to $50 to get stuff from Japan.
Yeah, let's see, the envelope is still here. Postage paid 1,200 yen.
So that's about $10.
Yeah, and the amount, the U.S. dollar value on the thing was $184.37.
Oh,
Which, after looking at the cards, it's about the right price.
Nobody's sending me $184 worth of Japan cards, so kind of a little envious right now.
Yes, and plus I got Okada bucks too, so.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
if anybody wants to send me some Mega Man, Rockman swag from Japan, Stevie J is going to accept. So please mail your Rockman stuff to me. I'll take a stalker. You can send me stuff from Japan.
As long as I don't show
Now
up at my
wants to stalk
door,
me,
I'm
I'll take her
okay.
as a stalker.
Definitely. But in Japan, maybe they're going to mail me some of those Japan exclusive Pocky sticks. Those things are so good. They're literally good. They're not Pokey sticks, they're Pocky sticks, and they're literally Japan has two great things, and that's great wrestling and great Pocky sticks. Love them.
Dude, you don't even have to get them sent to you by anybody. Go to J-List. You can get all the Pocky you want from J-List.
Really? Okay, you got
Yeah,
to tweet this at Jordan J. Garber right after the show, CBJ.
Absolutely. In fact, I will do you one better than that. I will retweet you a tweet from Peter Payne, who runs J-List, and he will hook you up.
Definitely. I want my Pocky sticks. The only flavors we have here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, where it's the capital of cold here over here right now, is we have green tea flavored, strawberry cream flavored, and chocolate flavored. That's all we got. And I want to try more because I love these things.
Dude, okay. If you can't get them from J-List, then you need to come visit me in Omaha because we have an Asian food market and the entire end cap. I mean, literally one entire end cap of the grocery aisle is nothing but different flavors of Pocky. Mint Pocky, double dip Pocky, strawberry Pocky, chocolate Pocky, green tea Pocky, which you already mentioned. They have like every kind of Pocky. My friend Chris was here just this past weekend. He bought like 12 boxes of Pocky while he was here.
Wow. Well, definitely, if I ever come along the lines of going to Omaha, maybe to see a Storm Chasers game, because I am quite the baseball fan, as some of you guys may know, I will definitely check that out.
Yes, we will hook you up. We will take you on a trip to the grocery, but it will be the Asian grocery.
Lord, this sounds like the discussion I was having with somebody on Twitter about Japanese Kit Kats earlier this week.
They have those at 7-Eleven.
When Chris comes to visit, he brings the Kit Kats that he bought from J-List with him, and he brought last time, he came with rum raisin Kit Kats. They were the best thing ever.
We were talking about sweet potato Kit Kats. This was after Tana posted something about having heartburn from eating so many sweet potatoes. And they started talking about sweet potato Kit Kats and green tea Kit Kats. And he went to the Asian market where he lives and could only find the green tea ones. It's like, that's just weird.
Let me tell you, the wasabi Kit Kats are disappointing. You think they're going to be hot, and they're not. There's no heat to them at all.
Well, it's definitely better than those meat chips that we discussed on the Extreme Rules preview back in 2015, flashing back.
Good memory, Jordan. I'd forgotten about that. You actually remembered it, so kudos.
Well, you can always go to the archives of AngryMarks.com shows on YouTube, and definitely that memory was on YouTube, and I suggest you guys find that and listen to it, because that may have been one of the funniest segments in podcast history. So it was definitely one of those great days.
That's true. I had forgotten about that. But hey, I feel like we're getting close to wrapping up. So Jordan, why don't you plug the Parrot shirt and any other cheap plugs you have?
Buy the Parrot shirt. I'm going to make a tweet in like 30 minutes. I'm on AM radio. I'm getting interviewed by an AM radio station. It got postponed not this Saturday, but it's the following Saturday. But I will just check my Twitter at Jordan J. Garber and just check it whenever you can, and you'll get more information on that interview that I have coming up with them. It's going to be exciting. It's always good to hear Jordan J. Garber on the radio. Hey, everyone's going to be in the car on their way to work, and they're going to hear me on the air. So that's always good. Always good to be on AngryMarks.com. I think sometime in the next few months, I want to bring back JGW, with some interviews with some of independent wrestling's brightest stars. So that's going to be coming back. Keep your eye up on that. Wrestling World 247 hasn't been running that much lately, but I'm going to be doing some stuff with that soon. But most importantly, buy the Jordan J. Garber Parrot shirt. And, of course, follow me on Twitter at Jordan J. Garber. And thank you guys so much for bringing me on the show tonight.
Absolutely, Jordan. It's always our pleasure. And please, everybody do buy a Parrot t-shirt. And now, Abby, cheap plugs from you. Let's
Oh.
start with Stupid O'Clock at New Japan World.
Yes, Stupid O'Clock, always New Japan World, the best 999 yen you can spend any month. I think this month it was like $8.42.
That's right.
Y'all can find me on Twitter at AbbeyBrook2121. I am always snarkily tweeting about wrestling and Tanahashi's hair. And I write for Pro Wrestling Authority, Ringside News, and Top Rope Press. So you can catch me any of those places during the week as well.
One of these days, we're going to have to book a crossover between Ringside News and Ringside Bells because former co-host Sierra writes for them. So we got to make that happen.
Yeah, I do my bi-monthly column, blog, feature, whatever you want to call it over there.
Yes, indeed. So everybody check that out. And veggiebending.wordpress.com for vegan recipes. What else do you have to plug, Jason?
That's me. I'm going to plug njpwworld.com too. Also going to plug our friend here, Abby, at AbbeyBrook2121 because she makes it worth getting up at 3 a.m. It's before Stupid O'Clock. She makes it worth getting up to watch these pay-per-views with her snarkiness. It's just amazing. So definitely a plug for Abby there. A plug for Cool Cat Saves the Kids, the worst
Oh, God.
movie in existence. Steal it if you have to. Buy it if you can. Watch the Your Movie Sucks review of it, or the one that Stevie watched, the I Hate Everything review of it, because it is a laugh riot. It is the worst movie you will ever see. And finally, I'll plug Red Dwarfs, Megheads.
See, now I'm actually a fan of I Hate Everything just because you linked me to their review. I actually sat and watched his 10 to 12 minute rant about how YouTube took his channel down for copyright and then brought it back up like a day later with no explanation and no apology. It was one of the most epic rants of all time, and we've got a few epic rants on this show.
So yeah, we'll plug I Hate Everything's channel on YouTube too.
Yes, indeed. It's hilarious, especially the droll and dry British wit of it, which I always appreciate as a Red Dwarf fan. So check out I Hate Everything, and check out all the Twitter handles, AbbeyBrook2121, Great Sudoku, Jordan J. Garber, and my own Twitter account at AngryMarks. But that's it. Thursday Night AMP is done. Thanks for listening. Good night, everybody.
Burn, 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 burn.